Why did Benjamin Netanyahu send the head of Mossad to Doha 3 weeks before the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust and told Qatar to continue funding Hamas?
I think, if anything, October 7 shattered that concept. And it's my understanding.
But you just said you always knew they were Nazis. I always knew they were Nazis. I would never give. We were always angry that Qatar funded Hezbollah and Hamas. I want to know, why did Benjamin Netanyahu do that? Let me ask you this. Why did Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump know in 2018 the sources of Hamas's illicit funding, and they still did nothing? They wanted that money to get to Hamas. I'd like to know why, because we don't know in America. Have there been any investigations in Israel at this point?
I'm sure we'll investigate it, and I totally agree with you.
When?
That Qatar is a wolf in sheep's clothes, and they're buying their way in.
No. I must correct you. Benjamin Netanyahu was asked by the leaders of Qatar, do you want us, Qatar, to give money to Hamas? This was in September. And Netanyahu's representative said, yes, of course. You're feeding that wolf, and you're telling that wolf to feed the Nazis in Gaza. So explain to me, because I really want to know, why was Benjamin Netanyahu and his government funding? They were allies with Qatar in the funding of Hamas. Why?
I think it's a mistake, and it was uncovered October 7th. October 7th demonstrated that if you think you could buy quiet, peace, by funding Hamas, it's a huge mistake. And it's clear to me right now.
Why did Benjamin Netanyahu, knowing that their charter said that they were to kill Jews and eradicate Israel, why would any leader of Israel work to fund that organization to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars and work with Qatar to fund Hamas?
I think that question should be asked, and we'll get an answer. We'll ask.
It's been asked. When are we going to get the answer? We've been asking it for 6 months. When are we going to get the answer?
At the end of the day, once we finish the war, all these challenges will rise, and we'll deal with them. Right now, we're focused on winning the war. And I want to make sure.
I need to ask you another question.
Please.
I want to ask you another question because you brought this up.
Yes.
You brought it up, and it is so sickening to think about the Israeli women that were beaten, raped, murdered, the Israeli grandmothers who were burned to death, the toddlers who were shot in their beds. For 10 hours, some of these people waited for Benjamin Netanyahu's government to come and rescue them. Those people whose faces you were holding up, they sat and they waited in shelters. Their children saw their parents shot. Parents saw some children shot. And they kept waiting for Netanyahu's government to come rescue them. 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, in some cases 13 hours. Where was Benjamin Netanyahu? Where was the IDF? Where were the defense forces over those 12, 13 hours? While the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust was unfolding within 40, 50 miles of Netanyahu.
Let me answer you. We will investigate that. We were caught by surprise. And there are many faults. Let me ask you
both
this. Of the army and the government.
How could you be caught by surprise? How could you be caught by surprise when you had Hamas's plans for a year? Netanyahu had Hamas's terror attacks for a year. Why didn't they act on it?
These faults will be uncovered, and there are many challenges, and we will investigate everything. Honestly, believe me, everyone in Israel, right, left, we all want to go down to the deep to investigate, have deep investigations on this issue, okay? But this is not the time. Right now, we have to focus on winning the war. With all due respect, this is not the time to interrogate and ask these questions. And I agree we should ask these questions.
With all due respect, I would say if Israel, a country that is absolutely necessary to freedom and democracy in the Middle East, in the world, if Israel has been led in this position by a leader that allowed all of these things to happen, how in the world do you trust that leader to make the right decisions in the most important war since 1973?
Well, we're a democracy, and we have our rules, and we obey the rules of democracy. And right now, the Israeli government, and by the way, the war cabinet, which is expanded, including the folks that were on opposition, were all united to win the war. And we want to focus, with your permission, not on what was wrong on October 7th or what led to it. Many mistakes, many problems. We're putting all that aside at this point, and we're all united winning the war. And I want to emphasize, we got to bring back those 134 hostages that are sitting right now in the tunnels, raped, tortured. It's just terrible. And I think the world should focus on that. And number two, focus on that wolf in sheep's clothes. That's, of course, Qatar and Iran that are funding it, giving safe haven to Hamas leaders. This should be off the chart, and we must realize that they're a big enemy of Israel. And let's right now focus on to win the war. When we finish the war, all these questions will arise,
by the way,
and we will deal with them all.
They funded Hamas for years through Netanyahu's direction.
And I want to ask a question about that, because every victim in this has been mentioned by you, sir, except for civilians starving in Gaza. And I just want to point out that you never, even when asked, you didn't mention that. I'm not going to ask, because I've heard. But I want to ask you, given the questions that Joe has just raised, and given the gravity of the situation, is Benjamin Netanyahu fit to lead at this moment?
First of all, I do have to answer, we don't want anybody, any civilian, to suffer. And we collaborate with the world, funding, helping the innocent people in Gaza, that 80% of them, 80% of them support October 7th. We don't want anybody to starve or anything. And we will be helpful to the world, collaborating and helping them. And by the way, there's no presidents in the world, when you have a war, that you help your enemy. This is the first time in all wars that Israel is willing to help the Gazan people not to starve. We want to make sure that they move away. When we enter Rafah, we're telling them, move aside. Don't give shelter to the terrorists, and you'll be safe. If you give shelter to terrorists, you're at risk. And no other army in the world has such, honesty and consideration of our enemies. And this is something we're proud of, and we'll continue doing.